Okay, hey, Ted here again. Got a call from Sue at Shopsmith today. It's Thursday, the 8th of February? She's going to send me an email with the address. She kind of got to listen to it over the phone, and it does sound kind of nasty. So, all the work I've done, I did turn a bolt. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. This is kind of like part one. I'll be taking it all apart and put it in a box, get ready to ship to Shopsmith. And they're going to go through it and see if they can figure out just what it is. Now, I'm past the warranty, and that's fine. I want it to work. I got a lot of money invested in this Shopsmith stuff, and I need a Power Pro headstock that basically can allow me to turn and work like a real lathe. So let's take a look at what we got. Okay. So here's the bowl I've been turning. As you can see on the outside, it looks pretty good. I've been using my Shopsmith, I think it's like a 3/4 inch, maybe 1 inch gouge, 3/4 inch or 1 inch gouge Shopsmith. Got to keep it sharp because this is walnut and maple, oak, and about a little over 4.5 inches in there. It's 6 inches from here to about here. This is a sacrificial plate. I've got this 3.5 inch cast faceplate on it, Shopsmith. So let's turn this on. You can see the shavings have been pretty good. You got to really keep it sharp though. But it just chatters and jumps all over the place. So we're at 500 RPM, and let's listen to it. I don't like that noise. It sounds like it's running smooth, but you can still hear it rattling around in there. So what I'm going to do is take it off the rails, put it in that big box back there. It's really big, but I want to make sure it's protected really well. I'll wrap it up as they show they want it. You can kind of see the wobble. It's really a pain. Anyway, we're running at 500 RPM. Give it a stop. Turn it off. And we'll wait until I get it back. I think I showed a video on it before. I've been using my universal tool rest. I really like that thing. It's just solid as can be. Anyway, enough. Okay, so FedEx has the Power Pro headstock. It's on its way to Ohio. But it doesn't mean you still can't use your Shopsmith. So what I've done is I've taken my 3 floating tables. I've got the 5-foot extension tubes. And I have a extra end table, which is the one second from the right there. And that gives me a 5-foot working surface that I can use, because what I'm going to do is start taking down some of these boxes up here and over here, which are all full of pieces of wood for turning. And I'm going to spend the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, however long it takes Shopsmith to make blanks. So when I get my tool back, I'll be ready to use it. So, still February. What's the 12th, I think? Saturday, whatever it is. And that's it for today. Okay, today's Friday the 17th of February. According to FedEx, my Power Pro arrived at Shopsmith today. I'm hoping to hear from them next week. Meantime, I decided to pull down some wood off the shelf. These boxes up here and over there are all full of special pieces of wood. I put them on my Laguna 1214, actually 1412 I guess we call it. I've got some maple, black walnut, and some zebra wood. And these monsters over here, I haven't decided what to do with those yet. I'm thinking cleaning those things up and putting shellac on them. They might make a awesome, so ugly they're pretty lamp. So, just a brief interlude on what you do when you don't have your Power Pro. Hey, it's the 26th of March, 2023. As you can see in the background, my Power Pro headstock is back. And as you can see on the mess on the floor, I've been trying it out. So I think maybe it's just me. I'm just having a tough time trying to turn inside of one of these small, whatever you want to call them, bowls. We'll just call it a bowl for lack of a better word. So here's the thing. I'm going to set this up again a little bit differently, and I'm going to kind of tell you something. So here's the thing. The Shopsmith and I have something in common. We're kind of like jacks of all trades and really not the master of any one. For example, I'm a licensed pilot. I've built a 3,400 square foot home. I had a 1,500 square foot onto a house. I rebuilt, and I do mean rebuilt, a 1947 Chris Craft Express Cruiser called the Red and White, and I've got videos on that on my channel. Manufacturing engineer. I've been a director of operations for a Fortune 500 company. I had a work permit when I was 11 years old, cleaning pans in a bakery. Anyway, I can do a lot of things, but I'm not really perfect at any one of them, or even great, I suppose. I was an incredible athlete, baseball especially. Basketball I was good at. Football, I just didn't like playing football, so I didn't play football. But anyway, this is an incredible saw system with the accessory tables you can put on it. It's got a lot of qualities to it. It's a horizontal boring machine that has a bandsaw that you can attach to it, a 4-inch joiner, a 6-inch belt sander, a jigsaw, which I have the original, and oh, what else they have? Anyway, it's an incredible drill press. It really is. The table you use for the saw has slots in it. You can do a lot of things with that you can't do on a typical drill press. So it's really good at a lot of things. As a lathe, for spindle turning, I've had no problem with it. But trying to do the inside of these things, and maybe it's just me, because I tried, as you can see from the mess on this thing, I've been out here messing with this thing. My belts are slipping for some reason. I don't know why. Like I say, this just came back from Shopsmith. I don't know why the belts are slipping, but they did. They don't squeal or anything, but it really wasn't that much pressure. That kind of bothers me a little bit. If necessary, I'll get back into it and retension the belts. That's not a problem. But anyway, again, it does a lot of really good things. But I don't think... Here's my issue. With a lathe, it's a light system. It's sitting on 2 tubes. It has a tendency to vibrate. You can't get away from that. I've turned bowls on it, but not with the Power Pro. But the spindles are the same, so that doesn't have anything to do with it. But it's got a 5/8 inch shaft. So it's not really the strongest lathe. It's probably what I would call in the MIDI level, probably. So maybe I'm just asking too much of it. And again, I think maybe it's just me. I've sharpened my chisels. I finally used the Forstner bits to get into this thing, 3.5 inches or 3¼ inches into it. I may try again, but one of my biggest issues is, and I'm going to stand up, you won't see my head, but I want you to see one of my issues. I've got steel rods holding L4 and L5. My spine is twisted. I'm not supposed to be bending over and doing things, and I'm not supposed to be squatting down or climbing stairs. I climb stairs anyway because I need the exercise. But anyway, let me show you something here. I'm going to grab the tool. I'm going to see if I'm still on the screen here. I don't know how to get away from this. I'm going to just do this, I think. Put this here for now. You see, if my height would put me way up here. Can you see that? I don't know. So it's basically, it's down so low that I have to get down and bend my knees and bend my back to get to it. And like I say, I'm not supposed to do that. And I can't really do that for any lengthy period of time at all. So I still think it's a great lathe. I've done a lot of spindle turning. I will do more. It has a lot of depth to it. It is 2 horsepower. And again, I think it's probably just me. But what I did over the time that this was gone was I decided that basically, because I was having problems with it, because it is really an issue for me to try and look inside and work with it, I need a lathe. So I'm not trying to insult Shopsmith because I've had this for a long time. I would recommend anybody that wants to do woodworking to get one. But what I did was I did a lot of investigations. I did a lot of research, and I wanted a MIDI lathe with an 1.25" shaft on it, 8 threads per. I will use converters to be able to use the system if necessary, which it will be necessary because I have a bunch of 1-inch chucks and faceplates. I can still mount the Shopsmith 5/8 onto it with an adapter. It just makes it stretch out. So I'm going to reset this. I'm going to show you what I got and tell you why. Okay, so back in 2000, one of my supervisors was retiring, so we thought, well, he likes to do woodworking and things, so let's buy him a really nice workbench, and Costco had these. And I liked the one we got him so well that I bought one for me. And now I have converted it to a lathe bench. And what you see there is my record power Coronet Herald. I've put my chisels on it, I've built a rack for my lamp, I've got the Rockler sawdust collection. I put a shelf on it, I got a shelf on the back. The light up there you see, it swivels all the way around and over the top of my router table. It can be slid back and forth. So let me set the camera up and I'm going to show you the features on this, which is the reason I purchased it, because I think it is a great mini lathe, if you want to call it that. Like I said, this is the Record Power Coronet Herald. It's got an 1.5" or 1.25" 8 threads per inch. It's a 1 horsepower. It's digital. I'm going to show you real quick here. I'm going to read this for a second. This thing is a great banjo. I've turned it on, and it tells me immediately what the RPM is that it's on. So if you don't want to fool yourself, when it's on the second belt, and it's at 140 RPM. On the number 1 belt, it goes down to 40 RPM. So I can turn really, really slow. It's got a forward, reverse. For reverse, you hold it till you hear the beep. To get rid of it, go back and forward, you hold it down. And eventually it will go back. It's supposed to anyway. Oh, you hit off. I'm sorry. You just hit off and it automatically goes back. It's got an indexing, 28 positions. You got a little window here so you can see which one it's on. Right now it is on number 6. You just move this over and it locks in and there's no play. So unlock it and just bring this back. Now if you want to change the chuck, they recommend you don't use that. You take the same rod that you use to do it and bring it down, and that locks it really well. Here's the feature that you won't see on very many lathes, especially you won't see too many in this price range. For me especially, it's important that I can, so it stops at 22 or 45. And again, you lock it in place, and it's there. It's at 140 RPM. It's very, very quiet. I'm going to rev it up to around 1500. It spools up slow. You hit off, and it's still at 1486, which is where I set it. So before you turn it on, you can only see what RPM it's set on. If you need to stop it, you got an emergency stop. It also has a remote that you can put anywhere around it. It's magnetic. You can put it down here on this end if you need it down there if you're turning on the end. So, those are some of the features. The banjo moves very, very easily. And it locks with low pressure, no effort at all. Same thing with this. You can set it. What I like about this, for me especially, like I was saying earlier, is if I'm going to turn something on the inside, I need to get where I can be here and use my tool and keep it right here. So it's, for my size, it's perfect. I can stand erect, I can get my legs set, and it works out really good for me. The tailstock, come down here, you unlock it, it's got a 2.5 inch reach. It's got measuring on it, it's in metric obviously. 2.5 inches, so it's not as good as the Shopsmith, not as far obviously. But when you bring it back, you don't have to worry about getting your number 2 out of there. It automatically ejects it. This can also be moved, and everything moves easy. This is machined to perfection. I mean, as a manufacturing engineer working with machinists and stuff, this surface, there's no sharp edges. You can't hurt yourself anywhere on this thing. It's really, really great. So I will use this. I will try it. Now, as you can see, I've got, these are like lifters. It's got 4 legs you can order with it. They mount either to the base or they mount to this base here. I think you can see it. This has 12 bolts holding it down on this table. We put the washers and nuts on it. They're not necessary. It ain't going nowhere. So anyway, this is kind of where I'm at with this thing. I really like it. I haven't tried it yet. I will. And again, let me reposition everything. So anyway, I'm glad to have my headstock back. I'll deal with the belt slippage if it happens again. It continues to happen. Again, that's no big thing. See, they've got some stuff on my tube. Thanks for watching. Again, I'm not trying to sell the Record Power Cornet Herald. I am promoting it, I guess. I still would recommend a Shopsmith, especially for people that have a limited space. I think it's got just great things to it. I know people have turned bigger bowls, and this may be me, but again, I like the idea of having an 1.25 inch shaft with 3 bearings inside the head of that sucker. It's got, it's so easy to change the belts on the pulleys on this thing. You don't have to get down below it. It's just the back of it just has a, the door opens up on the back. They're just, it's so easy to change it. You just lift the bottom one up, you loosen the lever on it, you lift it up a little bit, move the belt, and you're done. It is the most simple one I've seen, and like I said, I did a lot of research and studies. So anyway, enough of me. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm a happy camper. I got my Shopsmith back. I've got some things I want to do with it. I've got some boards I got to cut. I'm not done with the cabinet, with the lathe on it. I know it's going to vibrate, so I want to put some edges on the shelves I put up to make sure things don't vibrate off and make a mess. I'm really looking forward to trying it. I'm looking forward to getting this back and working. I used it today as the drill press. Actually yesterday, I had it working yesterday. I used it as the drill press. I used it again today with Forstner bits to get into this thing 3¼ inches deep. And I might try a new tool I have to get into this thing before I give up on it totally, and see maybe if I'm just not sharpening my chisels right, or if I'm using the wrong. I'm using like a 1/2 inch bowl gouge that is sharp. I don't know. I think maybe it's just me. I think if I was doing a platter, I'd be okay. I think it'd be working fine. It's just getting into this small confined area, and again, it's just so difficult for me to try and bend down and get into it. So, and that's me. But I'm 6'2½". I was 6'4", but not anymore. So anyway, hey, have a good time. Make some sawdust. It's fun.